Now, if we think about the longer term vision, what's the long-term vision for the platform?
The long-term vision is ease of using it, in that a lot of people and a lot of my competitors, they built great technology. I can't bash their technology, but to a large degree, they built Lamborghinis, but the users live in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get a Lamborghini over 12 miles an hour in a cul-de-sac, but you bought all that hardware. So a lot of people, our competitors, have great technology, but it's just not usable for the typical IT guys or the clients that are trying to leverage it. Our tech is as deep in value as theirs. My main focus is that ease of usability, because something that is really great, that you pay $1 million for a Lamborghini and you never get it over 12 miles an hour, that's just kind of sad, right?
Now, something we're hearing quite a lot about, and you touched upon it there, Bill, is like this client centricity and doing things for the customer in a way that's going to resonate for them. How important is client centricity to you and to scale as a whole?
Meeting their expectations is everything, right? And that's why I bought the convenience store. A lot of companies say, we're building cool tech, and then their clients don't see it. So that's why we engage with that client, in order for them to tell us, not just is what we built cool, but how can we continue to make it usable and valuable for them.
And I think you have quite a unique approach as an individual to client centricity. You know, like you mentioned in the keynote that you bought a convenience store to actually better understand the end user and sort of the challenges that they face and how best to serve them. So could you tell us a little bit more about that?
I'll give you an example. Here, I've met with very, very few people that are considering buying our technology. I've got great people that can do that. What I've been focusing on is meeting with the people that are in rollout of my technology, been using it for a while. They're the ones that can give me insight into how I can better meet their needs. And so staying focused on people that are using your tech, where the stumbling blocks, where are the opportunities, where do you see your business going, and how can we help you get there? As I told everybody, our success is a draft off of their success. We're the Peloton, and it's our job to get them up that mountain. And if they're wearing the yellow jersey and we're on that team, we're a winner too.
Looking ahead, how are you thinking about partner growth?
You know, I thought about that question, and I don't care to grow my partners. I'm not the type of CEO that says, I've got 3,000 partners and I want 5,000 partners. I want as many partners as I can get that will become part of this community, that when we invest to be a good neighbor, they invest to be a good neighbor. So I'm not about sheer volume of partners. I'm about building a community, and that's what we're doing here at Platform, building relationships, bringing new value propositions to them. But if we don't see them kind of digging in and saying, hey, let me see if I can understand that. Let me see if I can understand that. I don't want a bunch of people that are following us. I want a bunch of people that are helping lead us in this community. And so it's not about the number. It's really about the quality of the relationship that I'm focused on.
We talk about the quality of the relationships externally, but I think something as well, especially given how much change the company has gone through with the acquisitions and making acquisitions as well, is it's taking the people in the business on the journey as well. So
Right.
You spoke about the voice proposition in your
Right.
keynote. How important is that for taking a unified footing for the company?
I've been running companies for a long time, and every company, the very first thing I do is sit down with my senior management team and I say, I don't care right now where we're going, I care right now who we're going to be. And that's going to dictate if we can get there or not. And together we agree on what our core values are. There's a lot of decisions that are really hard to make if you have no basis of values, right? We sunk $7 million. That was not our fault, because there was a hardware discrepancy as it relates to this hardware boom we've had in the last 4 or 5 months. Most companies would not have even made that decision, but it was an easy decision for me, because I looked at my values. Those values are on the bottom, right below my signature on every email. They're on my wall. They're the little conscience on my shoulder. And so those tough decisions for us are easy, to always try to do the right thing. So to me, it's the basis of our success. And then candidly, my employees have got to give 75% of their waking life to their job, whether they're teammates here at Scale Computing or somewhere else. How sad to give that amount of your waking life to a company that you can't count on what the core values are, right?
Agreed. So just to wrap us up, Bill, what lesson would you like people to take away from both Platform and this interview?
I think the lesson or the reality is we have great people that have core values. We've built great tech based upon input from all of our different clients. We understand the world's changing. We're changing right along with it, but never leaving our values, always leveraging the great talented folks we have, and always listening to our clients.
Wonderful. Bill, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you too for watching. I've been Tom Watts, and if you want to find out more about Scale Computing Platform 2026, please visit techrepublic.com.